Today, we're going to talk about don't say yes when you really mean no. So many of us go through life people pleasers. We say yes even though we really mean no. We do things for others even though we don't want to do it, or we go here when we really don't want to do it, or we're just constantly giving to other people even though maybe we don't want to. Obviously, many times we want to, but many times we're just pleasing others at the expense of ourselves. And we're doing it because maybe we're very empathic or we're very sensitive. We feel things very, very strongly, and we like people to be happy. And so it comes from a good place. We want others to be happy. But what happens is we continue to give and give and give, and we're emptying our cup because we're not listening to ourselves. So we're emptying our cup. And then one day we either explode, or we're depressed, anxious, um, angry, or sick, and we get into a really dark place. And then, so really, nobody wins, right? If you're giving at the expense of yourself, really, nobody's really winning. So let me give you an example. When my son was a baby, he was very intense, and I didn't always want to deal with that intensity, especially if I was in the store and he's starting to have a temper tantrum, and I'm afraid people are, looking at me. Have you ever been in that situation where you're in public and your child is having a temper tantrum and you feel judged and you feel like people are thinking, why can't they control their kid? And they're looking at you, and it's just embarrassing. It's a horrible place. And so you just give in, you just keep giving in. And I was doing that. And then one day, so I was doing that for some time. And then one day I exploded. And so I'm getting mad at my child who's just being a child. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be a child. They're children. They're going to ask for things. And I was getting mad and losing it just because they were being who they're supposed to be. And I realized that it was because I was saying yes when I really meant no, over and over and over again. I was depleting my cup, and then I exploded. So you need to do constant self checks. Another time it happened when he was first born. I wanted to give him everything. I wanted him to feel accepted and loved, and I just gave and gave, and I had him sleep with me, and I nursed on demand, and I was constantly giving him care around the clock. And I just felt like it was the best thing for him. And I did not consider what I wanted. I did not. I needed to do what was best for him. But what happened again was one day he's just being a child and he's getting into my stuff and things got all over the place. And I'm like, right? Nobody wins. I was so depleted. I was so sleep deprived. I was exhausted. And so in the long run, it really wasn't good for him. I was trying to do everything for him, but in the long run, I wasn't really helping him because energetically I was a mess, and I had a short fuse, and nobody was winning. And so I had to do some self checks. I had to ask myself, who am I, and what do I want? That's a question always to ask yourself. Who am I, and what do I want in this moment? And do self checks. And if the answer is no, then the answer is no. You're teaching them life skills. You're teaching them how to deal with being upset. Give them those tools. But do self checks. Same thing if you're in a relationship or you're with a friend and they really want to go somewhere, and deep down you're like, I really don't want to do this, but you say yes anyway. Energetically, you're going and doing something you don't really want to do, and you're building resentment. And so it comes out in other ways. It comes out maybe in a passive aggressive way, or just resentment starts building, right? Nobody's winning. You're not doing anyone any favors when you're saying yes and you really mean no. If you are doing self checks and you're like, I really don't want to do this, and you're honest with yourself first, and then you're honest with them, they have an opportunity to go find somebody else to do that with them. And then they have a grand old time, right? Then everyone's being authentic and real. So do self checks. Don't say yes when you really mean no. Be authentic. You will have a life more happy, and your cup will be way more full if you start to do that.